Hello everyone, we're coming to you live from the Thailand airport.
Hello!
We're getting ready to fly to China, so...
There's going to be loud intercoms intermittently coming through, and so you're just going to have to deal with it.
But we wanted to come and talk to you before we left in case we can't come to you live from China. So one of the items, or one of the practices that we found about being able to live tantrically every day is really finding what true intimacy means to both of us. So what's true intimacy to you, Peter? How have you found it on the road with me?
True intimacy. Intimacy is being intimate in all fashions in a dynamic amount of ways. I mean, it's from sharing a morning meal, to lovemaking, to reading to each other, to going for walks. For us specifically, it's teaching with each other. That's where we get a lot of intimacy.
So there's many different ways where intimacy looks really beautiful. And what I found, especially with Peter, is there's ways like the really hard work comes when you're actually able to be intimate with one another when you're super tired. And like one of the greatest challenges we had in Thailand is that our bed was super hard, and there were a lot of bugs and like loud things outside of our room. And so especially today is a travel day, and so I like to pack in the morning, Peter likes to pack at nighttime, and the bed was super hard, and so we got almost zero sleep. And so then this morning, then we're like, how can we actually be kind to one another and show up? And like that's to me is like having him come and just look and eye gaze with me while I'm in the bathtub, and we only have a half an hour to get everything together and get ourselves together and get in the car to get to the airport, and just have those few moments of us saying, you know what, maybe we have different preferences over when we want the other person to pack, or that we have different softness or hardness for the bed, but in this moment I'm going to choose to be kind and just show up with you in this breath. And then for me, it's a celebration of those other beautiful times of us loving to travel together and us loving to teach together and like being partners. But that part's easy. It's gotten so much easier to be able to start combining our different passions. But it's the really, truly, every single day, every single breath, can I be kind now? And so Peter's highlighted ways in my life where I get overwhelmed or I get irritated and I don't speak so kindly to my partner because I'm just trying to get everything done right now. And so it's those pieces. That's intimacy, is in those moments when you haven't slept, when it's a travel day, when you have 1,001 excuses and reasons why you could be grumpy and you could be ornery. Take those moments to take a breath and be kind and say, hey honey, you know what, I'm really tired, I didn't get sleep, I really want to be grumpy right now, so can you just breathe with me so that I can find a way to be kind with you?
Yeah, I mean, when someone starts getting irritable and angry and elevates their voice and emotions start running high, it's hard to stay calm. I mean, there's so many times where I just start yelling back and like, hey, this is not okay. But myself, I shouldn't be yelling back to try and get her to stop yelling, because that just continues the cycle of yelling. So I have to stop and take a breath and go like, hey, like, let's just calm down. We're okay in this moment. And whatever you need to get done, we can just get it done when we can. And I think that's so important to realize, is that it's so easy to get caught up in being the mirror for your partner or your loved one or your friend or family member who just starts attacking you, and realize that they're coming from a place of fear, they're coming from a place of exhaustion, and to have compassion and empathy for them in that moment, and to realize it's not always a personal thing. It's a lot of times it's what's going on inside of them is the reason why they're being so angry. So it's being aware.
And if you long to travel and teach and be together 90% of the time, then it's really learning how can you help even your preferences mesh, or if they're not working, can you take time to be by yourself? And so like that's when we had like a really deep discussion last night, and I'm like, we need to take care of stuff for travel days the morning of, like the morning before we travel, or I need to get my own room and go sleep because I need to be able to sleep all night before we travel and get up at 6 a.m. because Peter's preference is to go to bed at 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and my body wants to go to bed at 10 or 10:30 if I can, sometimes even 9:30 while we've been here in Thailand, and then I'm awake at 6 a.m., sometimes even 4:30. And so it's like, okay, what is it that we really need so that we can take care of our own bodies and then be intimate with the other person? And for me, that's super deep intimacy.
Yeah. So it's being kind and meeting people where they're at in the moment, and that's the work of being in true intimacy. This is the yoga of being in intimacy. So yeah, that's our tip for the day.
Honey, I have a couple more examples for them.
A couple more. What else you want to talk about?
So, like, Peter's really into hockey, and we've started watching hockey together. And so he really loves the Sharks, and so he's sitting there watching the Sharks yesterday, and he's getting more and more sad because they were ahead the whole time. And so he's sitting out there just like, oh, what's happening? Because they fell apart, and the other team starts winning. And so there was just this beauty in being able to feel inside of me, wow, I really want to help this person feel better because I love him, and I like it when he smiles, and I like it when we're laughing together. And then it was even then taking a breath and like, that's not where he's at. Like, he really loves this team and he really wants them to win. And so I asked him if I could share, and so then it gave me the opportunity to start diving into a deeper perspective. And I'm all, honey, look, we love the Sharks, and so what if the Sharks have to learn how to not panic, and if they ever want to win the Stanley Cup, then it's really being able to have these moments where it's just like the chicken and the egg. Like, you can't break that egg open for them, you can't open up the cocoon for the butterfly, or they're gonna die. And so that's the same, that the Sharks were just, they have to go through the fire if they ever really want to win and have that space. And so even that was an opportunity to be able to be with my partner where he was at and open up this whole gift in me of like, wow, every single day, then sometimes we have to hit rock bottom to be able to start making the changes to correct our life. And sometimes we can realize, I don't need to hit the bottom to be able to choose to make a choice.
Yeah, it's you want to make the choice to change your behavior before you get the wake-up call, before you have the heart attack, before you have the car accident, before someone says, hey, I can't be with you anymore. Like,
sorry, now it's really loud. We'll bring it up by us.
So you want to before hitting rock bottom or having that wake-up call, you want to make the choice and be aware. So yeah, what do you do to change your behavior before rock bottom?
And start recognizing, hey, this is the trajectory or the direction that my actions are taking me, and so do I want to make another choice? I can continue down this path because that is a choice and continuing, or do I want to make another choice? And then that's another piece where intimacy comes in, is you can ask your partner to support you, and then they can choose to support you in a way that's not, wow, you did this, or shaming you, or like cracking the whip. Instead, they're like, hey, remember you asked me to support you, so how can I be there for you today? And it's those little ways that we can all help one another.
Yeah. Saying you did this is not a good idea if you're with me.
Or you told me to do this.
Yeah, not a good idea.
So the little ways that you can really find true intimacy is even in those moments that don't feel beautiful, that feel kind of ugly, that feel kind of messy. Can you take a breath and be with your partner, not try to change their emotion, not try to change how they're being. Don't try and teach them. Just sit and be with them and be with yourself and see how you can come back. Maybe it's like, hey, we're both choosing to be grumpy this morning. Like we haven't had enough sleep. We've been teaching every day. Like, let's be grumpy. Let's just not take it out on each other.
Okay. Cool. So we're catching a flight to China, and we're going to do an awesome women's circle there. And then we're going to Australia, where we will be at the Taste of Love Tantra Festival. And we're super excited to be hosted there. And then
we'll be back to the States.
Then we'll be back to the West Coast.
So we'll do as many videos as we can while we're on the road. We love you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Keep being intimate.